We have always believed, for the years we have done marriage coaching and all that, we have always believed that when there's intimacy between a couple, they literally can survive anything that comes. Once there's intimacy, real intimacy between a couple, you can't choose the challenges that life will throw at you. You don't get to choose. If we got to choose, that would have been so nice, but we don't get to choose. Life just happens. But what you can choose is how intimate you can be with your spouse. Once there is solid intimacy between a couple, what we have found out is that they can survive anything. They can survive infertility, they can survive infidelity, they can survive insufficient funds, they can survive interference, they can survive anything once they are solid. That's what we found out. Most times when people say our marriage broke because of so and so, it is really never that thing they are mentioning. It was the lack of intimacy that gave birth to that thing. A lot of times what they are mentioning is a symptom and not the root cause. Is somebody following what we're saying? So your job and my job and our jobs as married people is to consciously build that intimacy. So this morning we're going to run through some things that can help you build intimacy. In fact, we're taking it from the word intimate. We're using an acronym intimate. Intimate. We're using an acronym intimate. Yeah. So intimate, or in this case, yes, intimate simply means into your mate or into my mate. Into my mate. How intimate are both of you? How into your mate are you? The thing about intimacy is that it is either consciously growing or unconsciously fading. All right? It is either consciously growing or unconsciously what? Fading. Okay, so intimate, we're going to start. I'm going to do letter I. Letter I. We're using the acronym intimate. Letter I is intentionality. Intentionality. So, if you are going to build intimacy with your partner, I like an illustration somebody gave. Somebody said, when a couple or two things are like this, you find out that something can easily break them. When they are locked this way, it's more difficult. That's what intimacy is. So life happens, things will happen. When people say, my husband lost his job or we got broke, that's why I'm married. No, that's not why your marriage broke. Because if you check it, there are people that have gone through worse financial situations and even made them closer. There are couples that have said, we got married and we couldn't have kids. That's why the marriage broke. No, but there are people that have stayed and not been able to have kids. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? I'm saying, look, you can't choose what's going to happen, but you can choose to be intimate. And remember, if it's not consciously growing, it is unconsciously fading. So intentionality is the first I. And nobody stays the same. So some couples, as I'm speaking, are consciously fading. When the divorce is announced, it's not when the divorce happened. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you. When it happens, it's not when it's announced, not when it happens. Marriages don't break overnight, they break over time. Okay? Marriages don't break overnight. Most times we say, they just announced it was overnight. It was never overnight. It was over time. So the first I is intentionality. You can't build intimacy without being intentional. You can't leave it to chance. You must be intentional. A wise man said, good couples are compatible by chance, but great couples are compatible by choice. Very important. Good couples are compatible by chance. They're allowing things just happen. But great couples are compatible by choice. If we don't achieve anything else today, can we all become intentional about being intimate? Intentional. Most ladies are intentional about how they look. They know where to go and make their hair. They research it. They get referrals. They know the best color for their makeup. They research it. They get referrals. Most guys are intentional about their cars. They make sure there's no scratch. Make sure everything is well maintained and serviced. That level of intentionality is the same thing you need in being intimate with your spouse. So we were traveling some months ago on a particular flight. And when we sat on the seat, we found out there was a small barricade, a kind of a barricade between the two seats. They put those barricades there just in case the two people are not flying together. So, but we were flying together, so we needed to bring it down. So I called the attendant and I said, how do we bring this thing down? There were two buttons on both sides that were pointing down and up. So I asked the guy, how do we bring it down? He said, both of you need to press the down button at the same time for it to come down. I said, great. I said, but how do we bring it up? He said, only one person needs to press it for it to go up. So it dawned on me that to build intimacy, the two people need to do it intentionally. But to create a wall or to scatter the marriage, only one person. It's amazing. For it to work, two people must be intentional. For it to fail, just one unwilling person. Just one. So sometimes it's not even about how good you are. It's always about how good the team is. Many people say, I'm so loving, I'm so kind, I'm so nice. That's not what will guarantee success. The other person on the other side of that wall needs to also be on that same mind or page with you. Intentionality. Are two of you pressing it down at the same time to build that intimacy, or is one person putting up a wall? And I've learned in most situations that not all, but in most cases, especially when the marriage is rocky, there's one person in every marriage that appears that he has nothing to lose if this marriage breaks. There's always that one person. Nobody should look anyhow, so that we will know who is the person in your house. But usually in my counseling couples, I've discovered there's one of them that appears as I don't care. You know, like those two women went to Solomon and they had their baby issue. One said, let's kill the baby. There's always that one person. Let's kill this marriage. Why am I even married? Let's divorce. So that person, you see that word divorce flies out of their mouth often. They are the ones kind of causing trouble. I'm here to tell you, if you are that person, you know, because most times there's somebody that is very good. Most times, I know this is not all the case. There's some cases where both are very bad, both are very good. But in most cases, there's somebody that is very good and giving in that marriage. I hope you know who it is in my own house. You should know by now. I was just about that. You should know by now. But in all fairness, this woman is amazing. She's a giver naturally. You know, one of my daughters is like her. When you see those people, they are good people. I don't know if you have met those people. Some people are like that. They're just good people. In fact, a moron can marry that person and have a good marriage. That person is a good person. They never think of themselves first. They're always considering the other person. That marriage is more dependent on this other guy that appears not to care so much. There's always that person. Sometimes a man, sometimes a woman that doesn't care. Like I said, in this marriage, I'm the caring person. Okay, so like she's the caring one. So most times that marriage is dependent on that other person becoming willing. If that person never gets willing, you find out if you have, I don't know if has dealt with a lot of people that are trying to divorce ever. There's one always willing to work. Let's work on it. Let's try. I'm ready. But there's one always saying, you're coming up with different things. I'm not happy. The bed is not well laid. The food is not prepared. No, they're just coming up with excuses. If you are like that, because I was that person in my house. If you are like that, you can have an incredible marriage if you become intentional. If you can match the energy of your partner. Stop being the person that feels you don't care. See, you even deserve to be happy. And this I don't care attitude will also make you unhappy. I was driving in Houston, I saw one billboard, they said cheap divorces. I said it's a lie of the devil. There's no divorce that is cheap. It's a lie of the devil. They are telling you lies. No divorce is cheap. No marriage is cheap, but no divorce is cheap either. They will all take work. So point number 1, I, is intentionality. So the question is, how intentional are you as a couple to build intimacy? how intentional. Coming for this meeting definitely is part of being intentional. But apart from that, how intentional have you been in terms of building intimacy between you and your partner? It is an intentional act. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so I was thinking you would give them 1 minute to write some things they need to be intentional about.
Okay.
So maybe you should take a minute and write something you think you should be more intentional about in your marriage. Because I don't want this to just be us preaching at you and then you go home and everything is the same. So maybe write something your partner can hold you accountable to.
Yes.
Maybe you need to pray together more. You need to go on dates together more. You need to stop complaining about having a headache every time you want to have sex. I'm just saying. Just put it out there. So, 30 more seconds.
You can even discuss it as a couple.
Yeah.
That is what we need to do to be more intentional.
Close earlier some days.
Yeah.
Keep working in the office. Send the children somewhere for date nights.
To the orphanage.
I feel like men. People need an extra pastor. I can leave him behind. Okay. So let's go to the second one because we have quite a journey. Okay, so to be intentional, to be intimate, apart from being intentional, the second thing we need to do, which stands for N, is to meet each other's needs. You need to meet each other's needs. So N stands for needs. One of the things I found out is that we're responsive to the people that give to us. And it may not be easy at first, but it's something, remember, we're talking about intentionality as well. So it's something that you need to be intentional about. And when I say meet needs, I'm not just talking about things that are physical needs. All kinds of needs, emotional needs. Sometimes your partner needs a hug. Something interesting happened last weekend. We ministered at a church in Dallas. And so they were playing a game and they had couples on stage. And so they put the women on this side and the men on this side. And they asked the men, when your wives want to relax, what guilty pleasure do they want? And the first man wrote, massage, day at the spa. And they asked his wife, she said chocolate. The second man, they asked him, I think he said something about shopping or something like that. And they asked the wife, she said crisps, just chips, a bag of chips. They asked the third man, he said a vacation in Bali or something. He said something like that. And she said, what did she say? I can't remember. It was something so silly. Ice cream. She said ice cream. And then it occurred to me that one of the reasons why we're always complaining about needs not being met in marriage is because we're not speaking the same language. Half the time, men have big dreams and they always want to do this grand thing. So they don't remember your birthday because they're planning something they will do at the 20th anniversary. And this is your second year in marriage. So the woman is frustrated and the man is thinking, I have a plan for our 20th. I'm going to buy her a house. And she just wants you to buy her ice cream. A tiny tub of ice cream. That's all she needs. So a lot of times people are complaining about, I'm doing everything. It's because you're not speaking her love language. For you to be able to meet someone's need, you must speak their love language. You must be speaking what they can understand. So if you're saying to someone in French, I love you, and the person only speaks German, no matter how many times you say it, you're not going to communicate correctly to that person. So it's the same thing. If your partner likes quality time and you're always buying gifts, you will think your partner is ungrateful, but you're not meeting their needs. I'll give you an example. So one of my love languages is quality time. I came to Houston to have my son. Was it David? Yeah, I came to have my son. So, of course, all of you in America know that you need a car to move around. If not, you're going to be frustrated here. It's not like Nigeria or anywhere else. No, before Uber, of course. And so when Pastor K brought me here, dropped me off with the girls, I was going to have David, my son, the last one. So he dropped me off, and the day before he left back to Nigeria, so he just came drop me and he would leave me here for a few months, that kind of thing. So he just disappeared early in the morning. I didn't come back till about 4 p.m. And he drove in with his car, brand new SUV, lovely, was it Ford? Something. He drove in with the car, came into the house so excited. Honey, come outside. Girls, come outside. So my daughters followed me outside with my big tummy, rolled myself outside, got there, and was like, ta-da! And I just stood there looking at the car, looking at him. He said, this is your car. I said, okay. He said, what do you mean, okay? I left this morning. I went to look for the perfect car for you. He just went on and on. I was just looking at him. I said, okay. He said, you didn't say thank you. I said, thank you. So I went inside. Once you collect the key, I said, thank you. He gave me the key. I went inside. So he followed me. You didn't even drive the car. So my girls were like, drive the car. I said, okay, let's go. Went outside, drove it around the estate where we were staying, came back to the house, dropped the key, went into the house. And so he couldn't take it anymore. So like about an hour later, he had been sulking. I didn't even know he was sulking because I was sulking. So he came to meet me that, there are things I do that makes me feel like you're ungrateful. I said, ungrateful? He said, yes, I just bought you a car. I said, do you know, you're leaving tomorrow. And I'm just thinking, you could have spent the day with me. And you left me here all day. And you came back with a car. Now, men will never understand what I just said now. Because they are thinking, so if I spend time with you, how will you be moving around when I go? Because men are problem solvers, right? But a woman men will think from their logic. A woman will first think emotionally. So after he hugged me and said, oh no, he didn't, oh no, that was because of you I'm doing it for. Yeah, they immediately, and I understood that, man, this guy goes, I can't be dragging about for my doctor's appointments. So I was grateful for the car. But you see, because he wasn't speaking my language at the time, I didn't feel like he was meeting my need. He was meeting my need. He was screaming, I love you, but in a different language. So when it comes to meeting needs, you must be speaking the same language. Some of us are also dealing with a lot of trauma. Let me explain. There are certain things we need to unlearn in our marriage. Now, growing up, for instance, I'll give you an example myself. Growing up, we heard things like, I don't know about the rest of you here, but we heard things like, the way to a man's heart is through his belly. We heard things like that. And we were trained, at least in my family, we were trained to, when you want to serve your husband, you must cook for him, or if you don't want to cook his meals, and there's a place for all of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I got married, I thought that if I was doing everything my mother said to do, which was to prepare his meals, serve him, pick out his clothes, do those kind of things, that I was meeting his need. Now, it was getting a bit frustrating for me because I was literally working myself to the bone and I didn't feel like my husband was appreciating it. One day he said to me, if you die, I'm going to be very upset with you.
Yes, I'll kill you.
Yes. He said, I was trying to be gentle. That's why he said like that. If you die, I will kill you. Because I know what I went through to find you. I said, you're just working yourself to the bone. And I don't care about these things. Anybody can cook my food. What I need you for is the companionship. I need your brain. I need to be able to talk to you and say, I have this dream, and you break it down with your gift of administration. Not that you are cooking rice. Anyone can make rice. And there I was stressing myself, killing myself, making sure nobody else makes his meals, making sure nobody else does anything for him. When what he really needed was somebody to discuss ministry with. To sit down and say, we need to do this. And I'll say, oh, that's easy. Just break it down. I'll just do a few meetings. I'll employ this person. I'll fix this person. Create this team. And that is not stressful for me because it's a gift. But I was doing the things, cooking, wake up early in the morning, 4 a.m., cook, do this. And it wasn't making any difference. So it's important that you are meeting each other's needs. But what's more important, that you know what the needs are. And so I'm going to give you 1 minute to talk to each other and find out, am I meeting your needs? And are they the needs that I think they are? And
then you can write it, also tell them the 3 top needs you have.
Yes.
So that just in case they've forgotten, they will have a fresh note now. And let me just tell you for free, a lot of times your spouse's needs will not make sense to you. That's why some of us are not meeting the needs, because we don't just think, this can't be what you really need. But it's not up to you to determine what your partner needs. Whatever they say is important to them, try to meet that need. So please, let's do that. Talk to your partner. So what is a major need for you? What am I meeting all your needs? Is there a need I'm not showing up for? Please have that conversation. It's a practical session.
"27 seconds more." Feels like we're doing an exam. 5 seconds more.
All right. Okay, so I believe you're writing these things down. That way you can work on it together later. You can also review your notes. So number one, we said is intentional. Number two, needs, meeting each other's needs. People generally fall in love with people that meet their needs. Very important. We all develop a soft spot for someone that is meeting our needs. So please, it's important you are meeting the core needs of your partner. It's important you are the person meeting that needs. Most affairs start because somebody gives room for another person to meet a need. Number three, in intimate, the T there is trust. It's trust. We cannot be intimate if there is no trust. And trust is such a delicate currency. Such a delicate currency. Somebody said we gain trust in drops, but we lose it in gallons. We gain trust in drops, but we lose it in gallons. Without trust, there cannot be real intimacy. If I always have to hide or panic in relating with my spouse, then there is a challenge. If your partner goes out and one person is having panic attacks because they don't know where they are, that is a serious issue. If somebody picks up the other person's phone and there is panic attacks, that is an issue. You need to build trust for there to be intimacy. Without trust, both of you will constantly be checking on each other from a suspicious point of view. The Bible said they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. So, you must consciously build transparency, openness. For men especially, vulnerability doesn't necessarily come to us naturally. So we need to learn how to be open. If you know how a woman's mind works, you understand the power of transparency. A woman's mind is so active. In fact, most women, they can't even control their own mind. Men don't know. Because men always think, why is she being reasonable? Women are natural overthinkers. That word overthinkers is women that started it. Because their mind is so active. Many men don't know that sometimes women even wake up tired. While they were sleeping, their mind was walking about, checking everything. A woman's mind is that active. So if you don't give her clarity, her mind will start creating scenarios by itself. That's how it works. So as a man, you must be deliberate. So when I see a man say, I'm passwording my phone, you are creating crisis by yourself. It's important that you create transparency. It helps her mind. If you don't give her clarity, her mind will create the scenario for herself. And most times you'll be amazed where the mind will create. Well, how far it will go. You're just missing for 2 hours. She'll believe you have gone to that country to marry another person. Her mind is that active. So when they say transparency and trust, it's not just because or for the sake of it, it brings peace to the scenario. You can't password your phone. Why won't your partner have access to your phone? What is there to hide? And people have turned it to a cultural belief that no, leave a man's phone alone if you want peace. No, that's wrong. There should be nothing to hide. So they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. So my wife has forever had my passwords, had my Instagram handles, and my Instagram open on her phone. It gives that accountability, that credibility builds trust. We are growing in a time now where people are talking a lot about prenup, about hiding their money, about things like that. The real issue is that please marry who you trust. I try to tell young people. Because people just want to marry anybody. No. Trust is a major currency. In fact, those of you in business world and in secular world, you know what trust means. You know what the name of a company means. There are people that loan money just because of a name. Meanwhile, there are other people that have a lot of things, but nobody still wants to give them money. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? So, building trust in your home brings the peace required for intimacy. So, there must be transparency. There must be, truth. If you have ever broken trust before, then you have to be more deliberate to rebuild it. If you have ever broken trust before, let's assume you're a man, for instance, and you have broken trust before. Don't start acting like they are suspecting you. We are suspecting you. Of course we are suspecting you. You've broken trust before. So you have to be intentional about rebuilding it. Don't act like somebody just hounding you or picking you out. No, we're all suspecting you. So what you yeah, because sometimes I see men act like they don't know they've gone astray before. So why are you checking on me? We are checking on you last time. We didn't check on you. You know what happened? So if you're a guy in that situation, you yourself, don't wait for them to call you to check on you. You call them to check on you. You will do the call and do video call. Don't wait for them to women are easy. When I see men say women are complicated, no, you just have to understand women. Like I told you, they overthink naturally. So you yourself, you have not seen her for 1 hour, call, do video call, and say, hey, how you doing? And we Pastor Emmanuel, and so they say, and they want to greet. We're just watching match, we're just Arsenal is winning. This is score line. I'll come home now soon. Greet TLC, greet that by yourself. Report where you are and what you are doing. You are helping her answer the questions she can't ask you. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? Give an account of yourself. And you see, women are so amazing. Once she trusts you totally. So you build it. It doesn't just happen. Especially if you have committed offense before. Be deliberate. Alright? Be deliberate. Also offer accountability. That's how you build trust. And maybe tomorrow if I have time we'll go into that. People have always assumed that when the Bible says the man is the head, it means he's a headless head. It means he's a head that has no accountability. That's never what the scripture will say. Being the head is not just about authority, it's more about responsibility. But even the authority aspect of it, there's a guy in the Bible that Jesus met, and he said to Jesus, I'm a man of under authority. He said, you can speak and people will move. He said, I'm a man under. He didn't say I'm a man of authority. Authority is always given. So it only functions when the person himself is under authority. So don't act like you are not accountable. Nobody can ask you where you are going. Nobody can ask you what you are doing. Then you are not giving a good example of that authority. You too, you are under authority. So women will feel more comfortable with a man that is under authority. Be submitted first to God. Secondly, be submitted to authority. Is there anybody your wife can call if you are acting out of order? Give a woman that level of comfort that I'm a man under authority also. When I first started dating my wife, before we got married, one of the first things I did was take her to my mentors and my pastor. Reverend Femi Odwele, I'm sure he has been here a lot of times. Reverend Sam Adeyemi and co. That was the first one I took her to and said, these are my mentors. I said, anytime my head is touching or you can't get across to me or I'm misbehaving, these are people you can call that I respect. Things like that give a woman trust. Not that you're saying, I don't talk to them, I don't report to anybody. You see, you are breeding rebellion. The problem of breeding rebellion is that the people you are training will also rebel against you. But when you breed submission, then it's easier for everybody to submit to authority. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? So things like your finances, there must be trust. I don't know why a couple will be married and not even run their finances together. I don't even understand. That defeats the whole purpose of marriage. That defeats. It's like two people still just live. You are sharing the house, and it's so amazing. Our value system has problem. I was telling Reverend K, during the life that we are putting together a financial course for couples, Christian couples. We believe every Christian couple can be rich. If they follow God's guidelines. And one of the things we're establishing in that place is that working together financially. When I see couples saying we do 50% this one, 70%, you are defeating the purpose. You are 100% for both of you. You are one person. That's the structure. So no matter who you don't trust, our value system has problem. I say, I keep my money aside, but you are giving the person your life. So I put my money in the safe. I'm hiding my money, but you are giving the person that can easily kill you is your spouse. You are eating together every day. They are serving you tea. They can poison you. You are sleeping in the night. So you don't trust them with your money, but you trust them with your life. There's something wrong with how you value things. And I've watched crime channels. I watch American crime channels a lot. A lot. Not the acted ones or the real story ones where somebody actually died. I watched a lot. I've watched that thing so much that right now I think I'm LAPD. I mean, I feel like a policeman. I'm a detective right now. They don't just know, but I'm a full detective. I can investigate a crime now. Because I've watched it so much, I know the steps to catching the person. Every time a married person dies, you see the police people, they will come. The wife or husband is crying. Oh, my wife, they say, oh, sorry, madam, we're so sorry about what happened to you and all that. It's in the crime scene, we're in the house, though. Person just died next door. Oh, sorry, where were you by 3 p.m.? You know why? Because you're the number one suspect. All that crying is not even there. As they're betting you, they're like, can you follow us to the office? To make a statement, why? Because your partner is the person that can kill you cheaply. Without everybody knowing. And a lot of times in those cases, the spouses are involved. What am I saying? You don't trust the person with your money, but you trust them with your life. Then your value system has problem. To even show furthermore how warped our value system has become, you trust this person with your children. But you trust them. You want to hide it, but you get your children to take my riches. Which one is of more value? What am I saying? It's important to build trust. If you have broken trust, either financially, maritally, or anyway, build it consciously, because we can't be intimate if we don't trust each other. I must be able to sleep at night and be confident with what you are doing. I must be able to fall on you and know you will catch me. Build trust. You can't be intimate without trust. And listen, guys, in 5, give her the mic. Especially for those people that, there are 2 kinds of people. There are some people that see the color gray. Then there are some people that everything must be either black or white. It's not that they are evil, they are just incapable of appreciating gray. So once the story doesn't just no, none is good, none is bad. It's just how people's mind work. When you are married to those people that are either white or black, you can't be peddling gray. When were you by 4 p.m.? You can't say you are going this way and then they see you in another place and you can't give explanation easily. Once you create those things, that person's mind will keep running. You are literally torturing that person because their mind can't function without clarity. So what am I saying? To build trust, we must be transparent and there must be truth. Truth over time.
Fantastic. I was enjoying this. I haven't forgot that song. Okay, so recap. I is what? N is, T is trust. And so the next one is I again. And that I is interest. So what do you both enjoy? If you're going to build intimacy, you guys have to find things that you do together and that you enjoy doing together. So it's not just enough to do things together, but you must find things that you enjoy doing together. And they must be sustained. I'm laughing because the example I'm about to give you, Pastor has accused me many times that when the children came, I changed. But when I first met him, because, well, his personality, he's very extroverted, and I'm quite the opposite. So, like we said, I have to be intentional about, our intimacy, which means that I have to make some adjustments for him as well. The things I like are very easy. So there are things that I don't think that he has to do much adjusting. Staying at home in bed, it's not really, it's not really stressful. Watching a movie is not really stressful. My husband likes things like bungee jumping, power bike riding, skydiving, things that you must question whether you live or die. So I remember when we first got married, he wanted to do all those things, right? And I had to, because I understand that most men, well, I think all men really, want the kind of love that involves friendship. They want you to be their buddy, you know. They want someone they can gist with. They can, you know, talk about football scores with and things like that. That was the easy part. Football, tennis, that was easy. Learning all that was easy. Now the hard part was the dangerous stuff. So I remember we went to Dubai, and Pastor wanted to do the fastest roller coaster in the world. And because I'm such a sweet person, I decided, okay, let's do it. It's what you want to do. So we got there. And there's this other guy who is his friend as well, who likes to brag about speed. He likes speed. He drives a lot. He likes fast cars. So they talk about fast cars. I don't really like speed. Talk about fast cars together and everything. So we went on this fastest roller coaster. Pastor wanted to sit in the first row. I said, no. Let's sit in the second row so that I will not be the first to die. So this guy was like, what's there? What's the speed? And so he was with his fiancée at the time. Were they married? Anyway, it was his wife, I think. And she came from the UK, so she had this British, almost Cockney accent. You know, every time she's talking, wash, I say, okay. So we got into this roller coaster, and then they were in front, we were in second seat. And the you know, put on our seatbelts, and it started moving. You know, it just started with a very slow chug. All of a sudden it stopped. So when it started, I was like, it's not that bad. All of a sudden it stopped. Then I heard, oh God, the next thing I knew, my head went back, my face was almost peeling off. And I remember, all I could remember was when because you know it's a roller coaster, right? So you go down, turn, go upside down. I just kept saying to myself, what is marriage really necessary? Why am I here? Is this how I met my end? I was honestly. But the guy in front of me, remember, UAE is a Muslim nation, right? The guy in front of me who had been boasting about, next thing I heard was, Jesus Christ, you are the God of speed. In my head, I was thinking, so if this thing doesn't kill us, somebody's probably going to throw a bomb from behind. You know, but we came down from that thing, and my husband was very excited. I was really just questioning everything. He's married by force. What time became without married? I was thinking, and he kept on holding on to me and kissing me randomly. He was so excited. Now what that meant was I had created a precedent for other things. But I found that I gave him joy, and that's my point. You know, there may be a few sacrifices, even though I think he's getting cured now. So then I went on the bike ride on Hafid Mountains. There's mountains in Abu Dhabi? No, it's near Oman. I can't remember. Well, so the mountains are so thin that only one car or one vehicle can pass at the same time. And then if you bend too much, you can literally tip over. I don't know, since marriage. What I'm trying to bring out is that sometimes the thing that gives your partner joy may not be convenient for you. And you need, yes, you know, I said I do, so I got to the point where I had to do. But my point is this. There are things that both of you may not enjoy at the same pace, but you will have to make adjustments for that person. The point is you must find things. So not always dangerous things. Sometimes date nights, movies, go shopping together, you know, spend a weekend away together, do things that you both enjoy. The point is just simply making sure that you don't lose what got you started in the first place. We have a friend who always describes it like this, that there are certain stages in marriage, right? And if you do not keep building on your interests together, you can move from being soulmates to being role-mates to being roommates to being cellmates. That means you'll be locked up in an, marital prison. So you're moving from being soulmates to being roommates. So you move from being, everything, we get each other, you know, we enjoy each other, to just doing things together, paying school fees, picking up the children for whatever extracurricular activities they have, or just doing your duty, to now moving from that point, especially when the kids leave home, to just be roommates, because we bought this house together. There's no point moving out, so we're going to be here and just be here until we figure out what to do with each other. To now finally be cellmates, because the marriage is now no longer bearable. What keeps you guys as soulmates is doing things that you find interesting together. So now I'm going to give you 1 minute to talk to each other about the things you both enjoy doing that you stop doing or that you should do more of.
So what is an interest you have that you like your partner to join you more? So they've not been joining you. Maybe you've been watching the movies alone. You've been watching the series alone. You like them to watch with you. Just let them know what are some of the interests. Maybe you like to travel, you don't like to travel. Maybe you like to read, you don't like to read. What are some of the interests you would like them to join you with or join you on? What are some of those interests? Say, I like when you used to. I like when you used to. We used to do a lot of this. We used to do a lot of this. My wife doesn't go biking with me again. After she had all her children, she has abandoned me now.
Two of us cannot die now. We have children to raise. No, but I don't do that. That's not fair. I still do some dangerous things with you.
Yeah, sometimes.
But you're not saying that.
As I discussed, please also write, because you can refer to it later.
They can be conversation starters for you.
Yes. What are some of the interests you used to join me with? And the issue is that, like I said, some of you need to go through, it will almost be like a drag sometimes, doing what the other person likes, because usually opposites attract. So what that person will like, you will not be interested at all. For instance, I know most men do not like to go for shopping. And if your wife likes to go for shopping, you have to, suffer through it. But if it makes her happy, then you go with her. Alright? So that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's not going to be fun things. Be a good sport. My wife hates speed. Absolutely hates speed. Hates speed. Me, I love speed. I love driving. So, those days, but she deceived me. Those days, she was following me everywhere. Now that she has all her children, the two of us can die together. Go alone.
The truth is, I know you're not going to die, so I'm praying. I have to be at home to pray.
You pray, right?
Yes.
So, but the point is that interest usually you won't find it interesting. What your partner will enjoy, you will totally not enjoy. But you see, we talked about intentionality at the beginning. So you have to be intentional. My wife loves Christmas movies. Christmas movies. You know Christmas movies? It's one storyline. All of them use one storyline. And there must be snow. One person must be stuck somewhere. The one that they couldn't go for, their family is not around. Something funny. He has a wife before. His fiancé wants to marry. He didn't marry that one. He now met that girl in a bookstore or in a supermarket. Same story.
Pastor K, in my defense, right? My mind is constantly working. I'm working. I'm fixing one thing, running one business, doing one ministry. So I need things that I don't like, mindless movies. So I can walk out of the room and come back and continue the story. I don't even care. They could have done it 3 hours and I'll still understand what they are doing, because it's the same thing. I can't even tell where they are going. Somebody will fall in love with somebody. I know what he dies.
If I put a movie on, I give them only 5 minutes. If there's no shooting, no punching, nobody's fighting, they are going to the next movie. They are not serious in this movie. Nobody shoots anybody.
So let me also say this, please. If you are married to a woman who likes those kind of movies or chick flicks,
build intimacy, you can manage your emotions. I found out that most troubles or quarrels people have is not with their partner, it's with their feelings. Alright? Most of the trouble or quarrel you have is not actually with your partner, is with your feelings. How are you processing your feelings? I don't measure how strong a couple is by when everything is peaceful. I measure it by when they are frustrated. How do you deal with the anger, the frustration, the disappointment? That is the real measure of how strong your marriage is. When you are disappointed, when you are frustrated, when things did not go your way, how are you reacting? That is how we know whether that marriage is strong or not. Not when there's peace. Everybody is happy when there's peace. Everybody is happy when everything is going as planned. We are talking about when things don't go as planned, when you are disappointed, when you are frustrated. How are you managing your emotions? Most quarrels in homes are not between the spouses, they're just between one person and their emotions. So if you are going to build intimacy, you must learn to manage your emotions. You must learn to manage how you feel and how you react to the situation. When your partner disappoints you, or doesn't come up, or doesn't show up, how do you even bring it to his notice? Some people at that time they want to wash the person down. Let me give you something as a general rule. Whenever somebody is behaving out of character, don't react the first way that comes to you. Your first instinct is to give fire for fire. That's your first instinct. And fire for fire will burn the house down. Your first instinct, like the Bible says in 1 Peter, is to do railing for railing, shouting for shouting. That's your first instinct, and that is wrong. Managing your emotions the crucial way. Like I told you, the quarrel in the house is not between you and your partner. It's between you and your emotions. That time you are frustrated, how do you even go approach bringing it up? Many people, when you bring it up, there's no way peace will reign. It will lead to war. Because of how you bring it up. Master the art of putting your emotions under. Don't react emotionally. There are a few tips to managing your emotions. I can't go into all. I'll mention a few tips. Number one, always practice the pause. Just pause. Don't respond immediately. If you respond immediately, 90% of the time you will respond wrongly. Every time you want to respond immediately, you want to just shout at them, you want to wash them down, you want to insult them back, you want to, rebuke them. Just pause. Women in particular, I try to coach women in communicating with men, because women are the ones that complain that my husband is not talking about not communicating. Women love communication, but most times they don't know how to communicate with a man. I have a YouTube video why your man is not talking to you. I coach women in that video that men hate talking to women because women first feel, they process from feeling, and men process from logic. So they don't know what you're talking about. Why are you feeling? They just do this thing, they just want to solve problems and move on. So I tell them, look, the man you're dealing with is not great at communication like you. So you must know how to react to him. For instance, if your husband tells you anything, your first reaction is to be calm. Most times the man is scared to tell you because he thinks you will not be able to handle it. And you too, you prove him right. The more he tells you, hey, you just shout, you say, you see. So I tell women, if your husband even tells you I killed 3 people yesterday, just say, okay. Who else knows? Hope nobody saw you. Be calm. Be calm. Then ask him, where did you bury them? If you are that calm, he will take you to where you buried them. When you get there, you find out it's 5 people he kills. Not 3. Most times the man is managing you. He's afraid of what you will do. So he will tell you small and see what you will do. Most times you prove him right. That there's no way he can communicate with you. So be calm. Alright? Now, I tell women, the more important the discussion, the less emotional you need to be. The more important the topic you want to talk to a man about, that's the less emotional you need to be. Most times women bring their whole emotional capacity to talk to a man. He is blocking a man can't handle the emotions. That your capacity for emotion is not, his own is very small. Very, very small. So he can't cope with what you're about to bring. He can't handle it. That's why they did experiments with men and women having heated arguments. They put machines on their body. They found out that the man's heart rate and blood pressure, everything during the heated argument is very high, 99. He literally wants to explode. That's why when there's a serious argument between a man usually wants to leave the place. He can't cope. He's about to explode. A woman's own. They checked it. When the serious argument, it was the same before, during, and after. So when there's a heated argument, when the man says, I want to go, what does the woman say? You're not going. Because she's having fun, she's enjoying this. So we're not fighting, we're just talking. The man can't cope. He can't handle it. He wants to run. The man's solution to heated argument is escape, flight. Because the only other option, if he doesn't take flight, is to fight. And he's a lethal weapon. He's a lethal weapon. A man is fight for him is a do or die issue. Oh, I love when women fight. Women fight is not final. Women can fight here, argue, and for them they just express themselves. If a man wants to fight, he believes it's a do or die. It's a final. We are going to finalize the issue. So he usually wants to run. He can't cope with the stress. That's why my mentor, one of the guys that coached me in relationship coaching, is one of the biggest mentor, well respected, has many bestsellers. They've been bestsellers for many years. He's well respected. Most of you know him. Even Harvard respects his materials and everything. Most of you know him. He's a professor emeritus. Right? Professor emeritus. Very respected person. Professor Solomon David in the Bible. You don't know? You don't know him? He's a professor. He has done research that even Harvard has not done. He researched having 1,000 women in his life at the same time. Harvard has not done that. And he still died of natural causes. He's going to the past, going to the future. He's going to the past, going to the future. The man can't cope. He will just go to the wilderness and go and sit down and sleep. So when you are talking to him, the less emotional you are, the better. Because if you are intense emotionally, he will block off both the emotion and the information. Because he has to block everything. What you need him to get is information. So try to pause. Alright? Process your emotions first before you have that conversation. Have it at the least emotional time. Maybe when you're even doing something, I just mentioned it that, hey, I wish you came home earlier yesterday, but it's okay. It's fine. Let's watch the match. Who's winning? Just like that. It will sink better with a man than trying to engage him in a heated argument. He will blank that whole scenario, both the emotion and the information. So practice the pause. Very important. Always pause. Check even whenever you've replied to somebody's message or replied to somebody. If you reply immediately, later you'll begin to feel, I could have coined this thing better. It always occurs, I could have said it differently because you reacted and responded too quickly. You never go wrong by pausing. Always pause. You don't have to answer today. You don't have to give a response right now. Alright? Pause helps you. Another thing that helps you to manage your emotions is perspective. Always understanding people's perspective will help you answer them more better. Don't try to answer them without perspective. A lot of times your first reaction will be wrong. I always share the popular story. I'm a football person, like most of you know. So we traveled to UAE for something, and it was time for football Champions League. So I went to watch a match in the viewing center. So UAE is like I don't know how to describe their timing, but basically the match ended around 1 a.m. their time. So after the match, I took a taxi back to my hotel. I like sitting in front, so I sat in front of the taxi with the taxi driver, and the guy was chewing gum. This was the most irritating gum chewing you have ever seen in your life. It was loud. And he was shaking his head while he was chewing it. Very disgusting, very irritating. I was so angry. And then I kept saying, he will stop, he will soon stop, he will soon stop. And the guy continued. He got to say I couldn't take it anymore. I just blasted the guy. Now, which kind of customer service is this? I began my coaching. My motivational speaker came out. I said, which kind of behavior is this when you have your client in the car? There's a way to behave